All right.
Hello, all. Thank you for joining us. My name is Matt, and I play games as the Cutter. And this is the Twitch show Just Scrappin. Thank you for joining us. We had a great season last season. Enjoyed 10 amazing conversations with some of our favorite Star Realms people. We're going to continue that here this season, but it is going to be a little bit different. We're going to play with the format. We are going to accommodate some of our friends around the globe and perhaps some that aren't comfortable with coming on and talking with me live for 2 hours on Twitch. And these are going to be a little bit shorter. And as I said, they are going to be pre recorded, so we will have maybe a tiny bit of editing involved. And I am excited here. The first guest of season 2 is Ori Kagan. And you guys know Ori. Ori is, of course,
Hi.
creator of Scout versus Viper that you guys are aware of. He also has been one of the longest members of the community, more notably, one of the very first outside of North America. And most recently, he also got the work with Kapow, with White Wizard, for their Kickstarter and marketing video. And that is what he does. We're going to talk about him today. Ori, thank you for joining me. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks, Matt. I mean, wow, I'm really happy you reached out for to me. This is quite exciting. I
And
never imagined when I joined the community you would like. I have to point out, the first time I heard my name mentioned in the podcast you used to do with Mega Hauling, I was really excited. I was like, my name is on the podcast, this is pretty wild for me.
yeah, and of course, Ori is OreoK in game, still actively playing.
Oh, of course.
So before we
And
kind of
stop.
get going too much into Star Realms, tell us about you. Tell us about where you're at, what you do, who's with you.
Mhm. Well, I'm from Israel, like you said, internationally, which actually does surprisingly have a Star Realms community. It's very underground, but it's happening, and I'm trying to uh, put it out. But so yeah, I'm from Israel, born and bred, married to Renana, and with two kids. We'll try not to wake them up now. They're currently sleeping. One is the firstborn is Tsul, he's 3. Second is Shia, and she's 2. About a year between them. So
Wow,
yeah, that's a workload.
very cool. And what do you do professionally?
Well, right now I'm actually completely freelancer, building my whole business around making videos, animated videos mainly. I do some freelance stuff here in Israel, but in the past few months, I managed to really expand into the whole board game videos, which started very slowly about 2 years ago. And like about 2 months ago, I managed to get to a point where I'm only doing videos for board games.
Wow.
And I'm producing them from beginning to end. I'm starting to have team members join up, more animators, I have voiceover actors, writers. So it's actually really exciting.
Is
Um,
outstanding, and we're showing here with the edit some of your work here. We're gonna obviously talk about that. Really fantastic stuff. Um, Before we kind of go deep dive into that, what drew you to Star Realms?
well, um, like I said, Israel does have a board game community. We have a convention called Dragon Con every year. And I think I was married for like a year, and I managed to drag my wife to this convention. She wasn't into board games at all, but I managed to drag her into this. Should we just start playing while we talk?
Yeah, go ahead, and here on my show we deep dive, the guest most importantly. So if we happen to talk
Hmm.
about the game, great. And if we happen not to talk about the game, also okay. But yeah, go ahead and we'll just kind of keep
Okay,
going.
good format. I love those Frontier promos. I just have to say, they're so good. It's one of the best expansions we've had since really, I think since promos number two for me.
Wow,
I think,
very nice.
yeah,
I like them as well. Still processing some of the cards.
yeah, not enough docking yet. But anyway, so I dragged her to this board game convention, and it's not a Gen Con or anything. It's very small. And we were looking for a game to play, and this guy said, "Okay, I have a perfect game for two." And he brought this like cardboard box, which he said, "I have all these expansions, and they don't fit in the box, so I have this own box I made." And he showed us Star Realms, and it was literally love at first sight. Okay, we couldn't stop playing it. We immediately asked, "Where can we buy this?" Um, we ordered it online. It arrived like a few weeks later because it's Israel, so everything takes a really long time. And it's actually the game that got my wife into board gaming because we just
Wow.
couldn't stop playing it. It was so fun. We took it everywhere we went. Every holiday we went to, we took it with us. We played it on a plane. We played it on the bus. And this is way before we even knew there was an app.
Oh,
And
wow, wow.
yeah, this is
This is
even
all through
before the
paper yet
app.
at that point.
Yes, yes. And the cool thing is that yesterday we actually celebrated our seventh anniversary,
Wow, very nice.
and it
Congrats.
was the first time we took the whole weekend by ourselves, put the kids at the grandparents. It's the first time we've done it since they were born, and we just spent the entire weekend playing board games. And you can see the list
Oh,
right behind me.
nice.
We
Sure.
played this whole, and kids are great. I love them, but they don't give time for board games at all. Which is why Storms is so perfect. It's a perfect game. You can't really mess it up. Short amount of time, you can sneak a game. So it's like one of the only games we play because we don't have time.
So, as we had said here, Ori has done some very good work here. Not just with White Wizard. Anyone that has not watched the complete Kapow video needs to definitely go do that. But he also sent me a list here of some other really great Kickstarter campaigns that he did work for. I wanted to go buy these games, man. I'm not gonna lie. I watched each of those and they all look so good. Before we get
Thanks,
there,
man.
tell us about your background. Where did you kind of get started with animation and video production?
Well, I didn't actually start as an animator. I started more as a video editor, and this was like when I was, um, 12 and 13. So I used to like dabble with doing like stupid stuff, and not wasn't stupid. I did like Star Wars fan films. So it was also editing, and it was also After Effects. You know, even before anyone knew what a tutorial was. So I found like these tutorials by Ryan Weber, if anyone knows that name, and he showed how to make a lightsaber and stuff like that. So we made all that stuff, and eventually I understood that hey, I could do this for a living. So after I finished my army service, which was around 21 years old, so I went to study film at Tel Aviv University and graduated there and started working as an editor at this small marketing studio. And yeah, there I discovered the terrible reality of being just a regular worker at an office. So it was low pay, it wasn't fun, and it like literally sucked the life out of my enjoyment of editing and animating. And well, I didn't animate then, but so there I started, you know telling them we should make cooler videos. Let's try animation. And I sort of taught myself and the entire office there how to animate. Okay,
Wow.
we started working with After Effects. We revamped the video. The videos, they looked much better. But they always wanted something more efficient. So eventually, I realized that wasn't for me. I quit it, and I decided to try freelancing, see where that takes me. And I had very basic animating skills. I'm a very good editor. So I was very lucky. I managed to get a few gigs very fast. And while I was doing that, I continued working on my animating skills and, just experimenting with all these things. And one thing led to another, and I realized, you know, why don't I just combine two of my passions? I love board games, I love animating, and there's all these Kickstarter videos which look like crap and they really need a revamp. So I reached out actually to Israeli game developers to see if anyone needed a game, and there was someone that needed two videos. I did them for really cheap, but I really put in the effort. Why didn't you buy that Lancer yet? The light cruiser. I was sure you're gonna buy that a
I
while ago.
I was really torn between it and the convoy bot, and part of the problem is I just love the convoy bot so much.
Oh yeah, but even before that convoy bot appeared, I was like looking at that. I was like, should I get the orbital station or the light cruiser? Because I was afraid you're gonna try to yellow rush me. But I guess things turned out differently. Okay, let's go with this one. By the way, I love the Central Station card. It's a crazy card that not a lot of people appreciate.
No, this is good.
Eh,
One of the reasons I really like having different people on is to hear some of their takes. Some of my guests have talked about some of their favorites, and I don't think that's what you said about the Central Station by any means, but you put a lot of faith in it. And I don't necessarily hear a lot of love for it. I think people buy it because it is a good card. Um, but yeah, to talk about that
It,
for a second.
it's a sleeper card. It's a sleeper card, and it can take you by surprise if you're not aware of what's going on in your opponent's decks. And suddenly it comes out and it has these two outposts in front of it, and a bunch of little beacons or bacons, whatever you want to call it, and then you're screwed. It just sits back there and generates draw and life. So if it fits your deck and it doesn't totally go against it, and you have bases, I think it's a must buy.
Do you find yourself a player that likes to go bases pretty regularly?
I don't see myself as someone that has a preference with my playing style. I usually do it more holistically, like whatever comes up is the strategy I'm going to go with. Um, but if I see I can get an early central station and to go with a base strategy, then I'll probably do that.
Sure, sure.
Also, also well, if we would have had promos one, it was definitely, something I would have definitely gone for.
Those are some of my favorite bases as well. They're in promo one. Uh, so somewhere along the line here, you're freelancing, you're getting gigs, and you
Mhm.
decide to also contribute to our community with the Scout versus Viper series. And this is, I think, where a lot of people maybe they don't even realize that's where they know you from, but they've seen it. And of course, the long time and the people that are active in the community do know it's you. And that features community members. In fact, do you want to tell us about how
Yeah.
that came together in that process?
So I'll let you into a little secret, and this like it really fits in this point of the story. I put a lot of effort into those two videos for the Israeli developer, and then I really started lobbying other creators and posting on Facebook groups and trying to get more people to hire me. And it really was a slow build up, like one project a month, until I managed to get like really some good looking projects, which I was very proud of. And then I built my website and I really started to push it hard. Damn. Um, look who came to visit. Um, so then, I've always wanted to do a Star Realms fan film because I felt like it was something that needed to be done with such an active community and there was all these inside jokes. It was like prime for that. And I really wanted to work for White Wizards Games. You know, it's no big secret. I even talked to you about it when once you started working with them. I mean, that was my goal. I mean, this is the game that got me into the hobby. I want to work for these guys.
So yeah, for those that don't know,
So
I did do a brief, I'd say about a year, just very part time, mostly online social media posting, and most of it anonymously. And it is. There's something really cool about being able to take something that you really enjoy and a relationship that you have and turn that into something that's monetary. Again, mine was very brief. But for you to be in this community, and then yeah, so you get the rights, you get permission to use the initial stuff for Scout versus Viper, and it's
I didn't get
outstanding.
any permission. What
Oh,
are you
you didn't?
talking about?
Oh no, I assumed
No,
that. I thought when we talked about that you
no, it
did.
went the other way around.
Oh,
It
funny.
went completely the other way around.
Oh, funny.
I just started working on it. I had the idea. I wrote the script. Um, and I reached out to the two people whose voices I'd heard. There was you and Dustin, okay, and you were like high league. So
And
I was like, oh, I'll wait with you guys.
if you ever happen to need a voice for a small blue underpriced
Um,
ship,
you know, I'm
I know a guy.
I actually am working on actually episode 4, not episode 3. Episode 3 is pretty has a pretty set script, but I'm
Awesome.
working on episode 4, and might something might appear there. We'll see. Um, so I wrote it, and I thought it was funny, and I reached out to the other two. Well, Bax wasn't a podcaster, but he did have a live stream, right? And then Paul Solomon had the minicast, which unfortunately disappeared. It was great. And so, and their voices fit perfectly. Paul's voice was just, perfectly the type of voice I wanted for Scout, and Bax. I just call him Bax all the time. I forgot his name.
Sam Hall, sure.
Sam Hall. Yeah. So yeah, and his voice was like perfect for Viper. And then I reached out to one of the most active female members of our community,
Sure,
Elizabeth.
Liz. Yeah.
Yeah. What's her last name? Do you remember?
Summit?
Yeah. So, and I haven't heard her voice, but I loved her personality, and I thought it would fit very well. So I reached out to all of them and sent them a Facebook, and I said, "Do you want to join in?" And they all said sure. They loved the idea, and it was hilarious. We tried to figure out how to record everybody, and we had to help Liz out, and we just had a blast. Beyond it actually creating something, it was just fun meeting with the community members, and other than like 4 other community members, which I was in a tournament in, and I've kept in touch with until now. They're called Team. We call ourselves Team Cleric. They're great guys. You probably know some of them. Um, so these were also the first community members which I've actually actively talked to and interacted with. It was really cool. And then I had to go and the gallery option in
Sure.
the game. I did a full screen on my screen. I went to the gallery to the cards I wanted, took a screenshot because that was the highest quality I could get, and I had to cut out all the ships. Now some of them had wallpapers and they were higher quality. So like there's the base in the beginning that explodes. That was from a wallpaper. They're all sort of things I took from wallpapers that were high quality and easier to cut out. But I had to like manually cut them out in Photoshop and start animating them. And I just did this on my spare time. I was like,
Sure.
if it works, it works. But if it doesn't, I still had a lot of fun. And I'll put it on my website. We'll see. And I was worried about the rights, but I was pretty confident they'll be okay with it. Um, Hold on, let me just make my play because I'm actually in a bit of a pickle. I have the dreaded 5 trade. which doesn't really get me anything interesting here. But I might just snag this. Ooh, okay, wait, I need to remember what a recycle bot does. Scrap carpet place. What do you say? Would I want a scrap recycle bot? I haven't decided what my thoughts are about this card yet. What do you think about it?
I like the card. I feel objectively with me and the teens, it might just be a little late for it.
Yes, but the thing is, it has a chance to disappear and, immediately thin my deck by two, which might make my deck from a very low scrap deck to something a little speedier. So it's a risk.
So it is scrap. It is combo dependent to do that, and you do only have two other red cards. I understand
Yes.
both ways. I think at this point, early in the game, I definitely take it, and I
I'm
would be
gonna give
perfect.
it up now, but
I'd be perfectly fine if you did take it.
yeah, even though I'm winning here, so it's not. If I was on the losing side, then I would have thought of actually going for it. But since I'm leading here, I think I'll be fine unless you surprise me. So anyway, I sent an email to Debbie, okay, and I actually, and this is a confession, I sent her an email way back after I did my first two videos for that Israeli developer. So I sent her an email and I said, "Look at this video. Do you need any videos?" She never replied to that one. I don't think she even remembers it. But I was sort of like, okay, maybe it was too early. So I sent her an email again and I said, "Hey, I made this video, Scouts versus Vipers. I thought you'd think it was funny. Let me know if you think it's okay." No, I didn't even ask for permission. I said I wanted to share it with you. I didn't ask questions I didn't want to ask. So I sent it, and Debbie just didn't reply. And I was waiting, I was waiting, I was waiting. I was like, okay, screw it. And I started, hyping up the group. I said, something's ready, something's coming, and da 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 da. And then I dropped it. I think 10 minutes later, Debbie sends me a message. Look, we love the video, but could you please add this graphic in the beginning? This is endorsed by White Wizards Game.
Awesome.
Everything is taken. So it was a risky move, but it panned out, and they loved it.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
you got a pretty good hand there.
So I think something we glazed over that needs to we need to go back to when we're talking about how awesome these videos are, and I ask you about your background. I mean, that's all very technical, but the fact that you are also writing these, you're not only doing just the technical stuff, making it come to life,
Mhm.
for what the manufacturer may need, but you're creating a story that's is going a little bit of a step beyond, and you're doing a really nice job of taking meta into consideration, and everyone loves those. Um, when you step up to these full production marketing campaign videos, um, you really have so much more on your plate. In addition to bringing their characters to light through their art and making a story that makes that compelling, um, and really bringing it to life, you're also incorporating their actual live components in the physical game, and you have to educate the viewer on what type of game this is and also how play might look during a turn or a series of events. And ultimately you're closing. You're selling these products not only during the Kickstarter, but I imagine this is still the most important tool that these game makers have going forward after the Kickstarter is done as well. That is a lot. That is a lot to
Yeah.
do in one video, and you're charged with a lot, and you've done such an amazing job. Tell us about how this scope becomes just so much bigger with a project like this.
First of all, wow, I really appreciate your words. And yeah, that's the thing that I need to go over with every client before I even start It's making sure they understand the scope that goes into a video. And I call it a production. Okay, it's not just making a video; it's a whole production, and it gives it a bigger scope. Um, but like I said, I don't do everything myself.
Good
There
game,
you
by the
go.
way.
Good game. I was one.
I
I
was
had a
worried.
whole
I
run.
thought you were ahead pretty
Yeah.
far. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm gonna send you the rematch right now.
My central station failed me. It's literally that one turn you manage to get it going, and it flips the game over. Oh wait, I jumped into a different game. Um, so that's actually one of the things I'm starting to realize a lot more now, that as much as freelancing is, the whole idea is you get your project, you do your work, you send it back, you get paid. Okay, that's it. I started doing these productions and they become bigger uh, and more complex, and now I'm also getting into 3D, which I've taught myself in the past year and a half, as you've seen in the Kapow video. So I realized I need more help. So luckily, I have a few animators which actually worked with me in the office, which we all quit from because we hated it there. So I know how they work, I know their style, and we work well together. So some of the videos they've done with my direction, I give um, an outline of what I want and a storyboard. I put it together. So, and I give also the final touches. So it's still my production, but I get a lot of the heavy lifting is taken care of. But what you mentioned was the scripts, and the scripts is really one of the toughest things I had to deal with because I'm not a writer. I had that problem when I was a student. I had a problem uh, back in school. Okay, when it gets to the actual written word, it's not something I'm good at. I'm good at building the concept, building. I feel like I'm good at just the ideas. Throwing the ideas and throwing them on paper and see what sticks. And when I get to that part where I actually need to put it to coherent words and for Scout for Sniper to dialogue and stuff like that, that's where I need some help. And I have script writers which help me. They're local people in Israel, so they take my ideas and create like a first draft. And there's one person which I love working with. He always sends me his first draft, and I say this is shit, and I rewrite it, and then he gives me the third draft, and that's the one. Okay, it's the funny way that's how it works. I'm gonna stop and ask you about Nanobot Swarm.
Yeah.
What do you think about this card? Because this card has never been an arc or a brain world for me. Never. It's never been the I'm gonna have to race to get it. It's never been the oh now I can relax because I'm probably gonna win this. What about you?
I think I'm not quite as excited to take it as the two you just mentioned, but I am more excited to take it than the Wrecker.
Oh yeah,
And
definitely.
I think because we just put them all into a category and, scrap's pretty important. I think if I'm in a position early or late to take the Swarm, I'm probably still taking it.
Well, for some reason, every time I took it, if it was an early game or mid game, I couldn't relax the way I do when I get an arc, for example. When you get an arc, you know that feeling, the second turn,
Mm-hmm.
third turn arc. You're like, I just got to be careful, not make any mistakes. But yeah, this is pretty much my game. With Nanobox form, I always had to keep my guard way, way higher. Just make sure I don't. I continue. I can't understand why, because technically, it should be better than the brain world, shouldn't it? You get the cards before you have to make the decision.
So because you get the cards before you have to make the decision, it means inherently you that means that it's going to bottom deck itself a much bigger chunk of the time. And so
Hmm.
you're going to end up taking out of your hand, and you're going to feel like it's just not as satisfying because your purchase may not be as big. I don't know though. It is also a pretty big body coming in dealing 5. I mean, I know it's, I guess we're seeing some bigger cards dealing
And it's not
bigger.
a base; it hits more. With Brain World, Brain World used to be such a high tier card for me, and it really, really dropped. I mean, if someone buys a Brain World on his second deck, I'm not even worried yet. I'm not worried. I'm just like, okay, I'll just deal with it. Um, just hit it as soon as it pops. Arc, I'm still pretty scared to be up against. Um, but this, it will come out. It will come every deck. There's no reason to. You are right that it has a high probability of bottom decking. Um, but same with Arc. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see who gets it this time.
So
Uh,
obviously, it
yeah.
sounds like you are a pretty big board game fan in general. What are some of the other favorites, either long term, historically, or that maybe perhaps you
Mhm.
have been into here in the last few months that you feel are good enough or are passionate enough to talk about here with me today?
Well, like I said in the first story, Star Realm is really what ignited the modern board gaming fan in me. Um, I realized, how many board games were out there, and it was like a bigger world than I could have imagined. Before that, I was the Catan guy, Catan. In Israel, we call it Catan. Um, so that was like really my first step beyond to a bigger world. And today, we mostly like those shorter two-player games because that's currently what we have. I am growing my four-player game crew. Okay, give them a few more years, and we'll have that up and running. Hold on, need to think here. I haven't even looked at your deck yet. I have no idea what you've purchased. Oh, okay, you got the Blockade Runner, Solar Skiff, and Cargo Rocket. Oh, shit. Um, give me a sec.
Sure.
I'll actually go with this. It's not gonna hurt me. So games I like playing now, well, our my most recent purchase is how do you pronounce it? Sagrada. It's a
Mm-hmm.
dice placing game, perfect for me and my wife. It's very fast, not a lot of very casual dice rolling game. So we're really enjoying that. Okay, I have to endorse this. Kapow is a fantastic game.
Let's
Originally
talk
called
about it.
Kapow, yeah, originally Kapow was supposed to be my first live action project. That was the first idea because the buildable dice that the game has are so, you want to feel them. You want to feel the click and the plasticky of them. So my idea was to really have it live action, so you can actually see the hands putting in the faces, taking them out. It has for anyone that doesn't know, it just has these dice which you can change their faces as you upgrade them. So in the beginning they're all blank except for one, and then you slowly add more and more faces as you gain more power ups. So we wanted
So
to
I,
do live action, and then COVID and lockdowns and all that stuff. So we realized we're gonna have to change that. So, but they did send me a game, okay, so I could film it. That game ended up staying here, and we just started playing it, and we were completely addicted to it. It's addictive, about as much as Star Realms is, and I'm not over exaggerating it. Okay, it really hits that same spot where every game, it's good for beginners and experts, and you could like every game you can turn around at a certain amount of point at a certain amount. There's no clear winner until the very end. Um, and a combination of luck and strategy, which is very, very good. So it really that's the type of games we love. And among that, we also love let's see, Splendor we played, which we really liked. Azul, a Widget Ridge is also a great deck builder.
I'll
Another
tell you what,
community
it
member.
is on the top of my pile. In you mentioned here with the virus. Unfortunately, a lot of our face to face gaming has ceased, and I'm excited to check that out. I did see that Ian has a very nice comment on your website, and in terms of reviews. I'm very looking forward to learning Ian's game, Ian Taylor Widget Ridge.
It's a fantastic game. It's really really fun. It really gives a unique spin to deck builders because you're focused rather than thinning your deck or getting bigger and better cards. You're actually only focused about the combinations between the cards and how creating a cool invention. It actually feels like you're tinkering, and because the whole it's like a steampunk theme. So and you're like building inventions, and it really feels like you're tinkering and you're trying to build stuff and do combos and stuff like that. So it's really fun, and it has this wacky sense of humor, which I'm a big fan of. Okay, let's see. How much did I get here? No, I'm 7. Still shy. I have to tell you the truth. I'm not paying attention to this game at all
No, listen,
compared to the first one.
I have learned that here with the
Okay,
streaming, especially in these
I
shows with the
imagine.
guests. Sometimes it's so easy to get wrapped up in a good conversation that when you let your mind kind of just go and make autoplay decisions,
Hmm.
things get kind of wonky.
Yeah, so close now. It's crazy. I mean, compared to Hero Realms, it's amazing how hard it is to have bases stay out in Star Realms. It's like every time you put out a base, don't think it's gonna stay there. It's just the chances are very, very, very slim. And the moment your base is left out in the open, you know you're dealing with an inexperienced player.
So it does seem like you were able, in the games that you have done work for, really hit kind of a variety here. We talked about Kapow. That is kind of a dice crafting combat game.
Hmm.
Within the examples you sent me, and we'll link that if that's something you would like to help share. I'm not sure if that's something you sent me in private or if that's something we can link later. But there were other types of card games in there, also sort of a miniatures, seemingly board game.
Hmm.
Do you find yourself playing games in all these different genres, or is that just who your work seemed to appeal to during these particular Kickstarters?
Well, what I love about doing videos in the board game world is that all the videos will have this cool theme and these amazing pieces of art. And I don't need to create anything for these videos. I'm an animator, but I'm not an artist. That's another thing which I'm not. I can't create pieces of art I don't know how to model very well. Okay, so I just take what they have. I tell all the creators, all my clients, I just tell, send me everything you got, every piece of art, every 3D model, every token. We'll figure out something to do. I don't want you to create something new for the video. Okay, that's a lot of money. You should spend your resources on marketing. You should spend resources on the game itself. Let me do my job, and I probably have enough. If you want to, that's fine. I'm not going to say no, but I don't want you to feel pressured to creating more art. And I just take what they have. If it's layered, that's amazing. I can do many stuff with it, and I try to build a video around what I have already. And that's when you have to get creative. You have no choice because this is what you have. This is the Legos you're dealt with, or the hand you're dealt with. You need to do the best things that you can do out of it. Oh, look what I got. We'll see
Oh,
how
there it
this turns
is.
out.
There it
Let's see
is.
how this turns out. Yes. So
Oh.
it's not. So I try to get a miniature game project for a long time because I used to do only the 2D ones. So I taught myself 3D in Blender, which is a wonderful program. It's free for one.
Hmm.
Okay, anyone can start learning it and download it and take YouTube tutorials and stuff like that. It's very accessible, and you can just do amazing things with it. And it, especially for board games where they just, send me the STLs, the minis, they send me all the assets, and it's very simple to put together. And then it's just a matter of presentation and the story and the pacing and all the stuff which I already have a lot of experience with. Hold on, let me see. Do I need to buy anything now? Don't think so. So that's a beautiful part of it. So I'm hoping to get more of those miniature games because I really love 3D now. I'm really obsessed with it. Um, I get bored now from 2D animation. No, I love 2D animation, but 3D is like the new shiny thing. So I like playing around with it. I have now a few projects I'm working on. Even my first RPG game for a game called Everway. It was a
Oh
game that
wow.
was. You've heard of it?
No, no, no. Just again going into another cool genre, another cool direction. It's just exciting to
Yes.
hear.
So this is a new direction because there's no game. Okay. It was like an RPG that was released like 30 years ago, and now it never had the chance to shine because it like fell between it was Wizards of the Coast, and it sort of fell between publishers or something like that, and never had the chance to shine, and now they're bringing it back.
Hmm.
So there's no game components. What do you do? But it has amazing art, and it has this sort of mythic quality. So I was like, okay, so let's spin a tale. Let's like show a myth unfolding and the stars and stuff like that. I'm now working on this 3D environment where you have like in the middle of space there's a rock, and on the rock you climb up the steps and there's the books like an ancient tomb, and it opens up and all this light spills out and there's fires. You know, just and this is fun. I can't believe I'm getting paid for this. This is the stuff I used to do when I was 13 years old for fun.
And I think that's the biggest, that's the biggest thing here, to be able to work in the things you love enough to barely feel like it's work. Uh, it's something that I think very few people can sort of find that. Unfortunately, I'm perfectly fine with my job, but I'm still that guy in the office, just kind of waiting to get the day done so I can come home and do my fun stuff.
Hmm. Now
So
there
Ori,
is
as
downsides.
as we're
It's
kind
not
of get
all fun and games.
as we're kind of getting towards time, maybe what's another piece of your life? What's another interest you have entirely outside of gaming and video production altogether, that helps make you who you are and take up some of your time?
Um, well, it is sort of connected, but I'm a very big film and TV aficionado. No going to films now. Um, Star Wars is a very big part of my life. Very, very big. The camera isn't very on the right side, but this whole part is covered with Star Wars stuff. Um, uh, I could say the usual stuff, family and friends and stuff like
Of
that.
course.
But the moment you combine your hobby with your occupation, it's really hard to look outside it. Okay, I'm getting really close. I'm getting really close here. Let's see what will happen now. I'll pick this up for another hopeful 6 damage. Hold on, let's see what happens now.
So 17. I gotta go digging here.
Yeah.
What I am able to do though, hmm. Well, I can put that recycling station on top, but I can't also draw it. I'm sitting on a solar skiff, so I will get to draw something. Hmm. Yeah, and I think we're just gonna put it on top for now. and hope for a big next turn. Big fan of the turtle since day one. We'll take it.
Mhm. Yeah, that has yet to appear in any of the Scouts vs Vipers.
Hmm.
So what eventually happened with White Wizards games was I made the second one, and I shared it, and it was the same day that I shared it. They announced the how do they call it, Rise of Empire. They have this new sort of legacy type of expansion they're planning for
Mm-hmm.
Star Realms,
Sure.
and it's gonna be story based with lore. And I'm a sucker for the Star Realms lore. I've read all the stuff. I've read the novel, so I love. It's just like Star Wars. I love reading all about it, around it. How much do I have here?
This one's certainly coming down. Each of us in the teens.
Yes, yes. Shikes. So I could either just take this missile bot, and then you'll be down to one, or I could take my luck with the draw. Here, I could just lay it all out here. Okay, so I could take this, get the two, or an explorer, by top decking with my carrier,
Looks like in your
or
deck you'd be. Well, you would have it with four of your 10 possible. Four of your 9 possible.
yeah, let's do it. And get ready.
Oh, the scout!
The scout.
I
Okay,
don't
let's
know
see
that
if
I
this.
have it though, Ori. We'll see. I don't know if I have it. I have to go looking for it as well. I effectively need
Okay.
18 here with the post. I don't think I have any base killers because that destroyer does not have any teammates. But what we do have here is a bunch of draw, and hopefully, I don't think is going to be the case. Well, actually, now because I did sack that big yellow
Ah.
ship, we might.
Ah,
Am I going to be
shit.
one short? I
Sorry,
am.
sorry for the language.
That's no, we're good. We're good. And I guess I got to kill the base. All right, I think you're going to get this.
Yeah. There we go.
You got it? And the swarm ends up being your man for the win after all.
Yeah, but you see, it didn't win me the game. It was very far from it. Very, very far from it. It was just like a nice booster card. I really can't explain it. Anyway, the same day I was being my sort of rude self, and I just sent Debbie a message, and I said, "You guys are doing this amazing expansion, and I want to make the video for it." I just like literally just laid it out that way.
Much more direct. This is what I
No
can do for you
email here.
guys.
Chen, look at my. It says, "Okay, you're doing this thing. I want to make the video." You've seen the Scouts vs Viper. They said they loved it, so we were in communication there. So it felt less out of the blue. Yeah, the second episode, I sent it to them first for them to authorize. So, but then I just said, yeah, I want to do this, and they said, let's set up a meeting, and I had an amazing meeting with Debbie and Rob. Such nice guys. I mean, they're amazing. It's so fun to work with them. And yeah, they said let's get started working. And not only on Kapow, I did all. If you've seen, they have the developer video on the Kickstarter page, and if you watch our live stream, there is the intro. So I made it.
Hmm.
I made that, and I just said whatever you need, just let me know, and I'll create it for you. So yeah, it's exciting. I sort of achieved my goal when I set out. Now I need to look for the next one.
So let's just say the next one happened to come from someone watching this here, either via Twitch or YouTube. How can someone reach out to you, be it professionally, or for any other reason?
Well, if you want to see the rest of my work, I have my company, my business, not company, is called kaganproductions.com, and I thought of doing product with a K and then adding the duck, but I figured people would think it was a typo, so it's just Kagan Productions regularly. My email is orikagan@gmail.com. Um, Mostly active on Facebook, especially on the Star Realms fan community group, which is a great group. Go join it. And yeah, that's basically it.
And of course, we'll link whatever Ori sends me here when I get everything up. But guys, that's actually going to wrap up here this first episode of season 2 of Just Scrap. And I want to very much thank my guest Ori Kagan for coming on. And we're going to continue with season 2 next week. Ori, any final last thoughts at all here before we sort of stop the recording?
We need to finish the third match. Okay, we are 1-1. We need to see who wins this. So we'll finish this off the air. Let's do an all without missions.
Okay, we can definitely do that. And everybody, do if you haven't watched
Thanks so much.
any of these
Thanks so
videos
much
yet,
for having us.
definitely go check it out. And we will see you guys next week.